Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. As you can tell by the title, this is a prediction video, and it's the prediction video for the upcoming Premier League 24-2025 season. I have recorded this video about half an hour ago and realised that on my mic I did this now, and now you can hear me again. So yeah, I did that and recorded half an hour and you can't hear any of it. So I'm going to go back through it. It's not going to be it might be a quicker video than it was supposed to be. I think it was about a 20-minute video I made it into because I was actually thinking through my decisions while making them. And I also forgot some teams out. But now I've got the list in front of me, so I'm going to go through them. I'm going to still explain how I explained it in the video before. But to start off, you should have them on screen here as well. A nice little table for you. In 20th place, we have got Southampton. Yes, they played well last season in the Championship and went up, but they're just the worst. Well, they're probably not the worst team, but they're the team I can see the most going down out of everyone in the league. I mean, Ipswich and Leicester, the other two teams that went up, I think they've got a better chance of staying up than Southampton, which moves me on to 19th place in Ipswich. I've just said they've got a better chance of staying up than Southampton. I do think Southampton will go down a few games before the end of the season, whereas Ipswich in 19th, I think it will go down to the last couple of games, whether they go down or not. But yeah, I think they will be going down in 19th. I think, they've gone on a great run up the Football League, but I think this is where it ends, and they go back down to Championship, and I think they'll probably go down to Championship for next season and then finish mid-table-ish. But that's what I'm predicting 2 seasons in the future now. Let's forget about that. And in 18th, I'm going with Nottingham Forest. Last season, they weren't lucky to stay up. They went on a good run of games towards the end of the season with Hudson-Odoi being in form for them. But I think this season it was going to be too much for them. Like another team in the league, which I'm not going to mention yet, they'll come further on. I just think they've got too many players for the club and it just ruins it. Let's get that mic out of there. And then in 17th, just avoiding the drop, I'm going for Everton. Yeah, again, I was debating putting them in the bottom 3. Obviously, they're there and thereabouts every time to be relegated, and then they never get relegated. So I can see them doing it again, and I'm putting them in at 17th. In at 16th, I'm going with Brentford. They might finish lower than that if they don't keep Tony. I think they're going to end up keeping him. I can't see any team signing him at this moment in time. But if some other team does sign him and he goes somewhere else, I can't see Brentford even staying up. And I think they'll probably go down. But for the time being, I'm putting them at 16th, and they're going to stay up just below. Next team, Bournemouth, who, not last season before, I think they were a team lucky to stay up. They did play well, but I think they were lucky to stay up. And then this season, last season, they did actually play quite well with Solanke being in form for him. But that's if Solanke can keep that form carrying on. But I can't see it happening, and I also think some other club might sign him. But if they don't, they might finish higher than 15th, but it just depends. I think it's all on Solanke. And I'll tell you now, before any of you guys come at me in the comments saying, what about this signing, what about that signing for these teams that you're putting in the bottom? I don't keep an eye on these. I probably should, and it's probably going to make all my predictions wrong. But for now, I'm going with this. And then in 14th, Fulham. Again, Jimenez, they've got up front now. I mean, they did lose a striker in Mitrovic last season and still did really well and got a replacement for Mitrovic in as Jimenez. Jimenez is an amazing Premier League striker, so I think he's going to be... I don't know if he's still there for this season. I believe he is, but I think they'll stay up easily, finish 14th. They might even finish higher, and maybe they might even finish more towards 10th, 11th place. But for now, I'm putting them in 14th because I just can't see them being above the other teams I've put. So in 13th, the first promoted team to stay up in Leicester. I never thought they should have actually gone down when they did. Well, they should have. They were terrible that season, but the team they had shouldn't have been relegated. They had an amazing season last season in the Championship, so they've made up for it, and now I think they're going to get 13th, and then maybe even the season after push for a top half spot. But for now, I'm going with 13th. I mean, they have lost their manager as well, which is a big loss to the way they played, but they've still got good players, and I think Vardy's still staying there. I know he's old now, but he's still a great striker. In 12th, I'm going for Brighton. They've also just lost their manager as well, but they're always going to stay up, and they're always going to be around that midish table. There's not much really for me else to say about them that I can think of. I can't see him being any lower. Can't see him being any higher. And then in 11th, I'm going West Ham. So I'll tell you, I've got in 10th as well in Wolves, and Brighton, West Ham, and Wolves could have been really in any order. I don't know what signings they've made. Actually, saying that, I know West Ham have just signed Fulkrug from Dortmund, and then they signed someone else that I can't remember who it is. So they might even finish in the top half of the table this season, West Ham, depending on how stuff goes. Paquette is staying as well. He's not going to City anymore due to his gambling, and also Kudus is still staying at West Ham. So they might even finish top half of the table. I might be wrong. And then in terms, I've gone Wolves. I know they didn't have the best of seasons last season, but Wolves always do all right and always stay up. And I'm going to go in banging 10th, because I can with Wolves, I don't know if they're going to do good, finish top half, bad finish bottom half. So I'm just going to put on slap bang in middle, 10th place. Then in 9th, this might be a controversial one, but I've gone with Chelsea. I mean, towards the end of last season, they were playing well, and then sacked Pochettino. If they kept Pochettino, I probably would have put them in the top 6. But sacking a Pochettino, I mean, they've got I don't know how to say his name, Maresca, in from Leicester, who did great with Leicester last season, but I can't see him doing anything special at Chelsea. And I just think they've got too many players. I know Cole Palmer's probably going to do well for him again. It might just be they did well under Poch, we'll see. He still did well for England at Euros, scoring in final, so I can't see him playing bad. And he were always good for City, just didn't get the game time. So I'm going to go with Chelsea in 9th, just because of the manager situation and having too many players in the squad. I mean, I saw a thing on Instagram the other day that was like people saying about Cole Palmer, and so it was like, when you sign 40 odd players, one of them's got to be a good player. So, and also saying that, I'm thinking now, and Nkunku should be fit for this season for him, so he might kick on as well. So you never know. That it's a bit of a mess for Chelsea a minute, but I'm going to go with him in 9th. And in 8th, I'm going with probably another controversial one in Crystal Palace. I mean, Mateta did knock on for him towards the end of last season and was really good for him. And I think he's going to carry this form into next season. I really rate him as a striker. I think he's really good. So I can see him carrying that form on into next season and getting him into the top 8 nice level. They'll get top half at table, that's what I think. And I've put them in 8th for this. So then in 7th and 6th was between two teams, and I didn't know which one to put where. But I've gone with from last season. I mean, I'll say it now, 7th Newcastle, 6th Aston Villa. And I've gone with that for last season. Obviously, Newcastle did have a lot of injuries. That's why they didn't do as well as they should have last season. And they also had Champions League football last year, which probably, made that worse for him. But, I don't know. I don't see him be better in Villa this season. Villa is strong. I mean, I know they've got have they got Champions League football? They're playing Europa League. Finishing 4th. So they've got Champions League this season, so that might take a toll on him. We don't know, but I'm still going with him in 6th. And then your top 5 is your normal top 5 normally you'd have your normal top 6 and your top 6, your big 6 teams, but obviously we've got Chelsea 9th at the minute. So in 5th, I have got Spurs. I mean, this really all depends on Pochettino, to be honest. They could finish lower than this. They could finish 3rd or 2nd. They've got the players. They play well. But when stuff goes wrong, did I call him Pochettino? He is not the manager of Spurs no more. Forget what I just said. Postecoglou. When stuff goes wrong, he sticks to his game plan, which, fair enough. You want to stick to your game plan, stick to your game plan. But sometimes it don't work. Like Chelsea last season. They had 2 red cards with down to 9 men and carried on playing an eye line, which cost him. I don't know why they did it. And he's like, well, I'm sticking to my game plan. That's how I do it. But sometimes you've got to change your game plan to win the game. Even if you're down to 9 men, you can still somehow change the game plan. I mean, at one point, was it 1-1 in that game at one point? So they could have easily stayed in it if they would just played defensively. But he said he wanted to play that way, but it works out for worse. So I've got him in 5th. And then in 4th, probably another controversial, I can't speak today, one is Liverpool. I've gone through in 4th. I just don't, obviously, Arne Slot were good in the Eredivisie while he's been there, but I think it's just going to be a transition period for him this year, Liverpool, and being in a transition period and finishing 4th, you can't complain, to be honest. But I mean, Salah's getting on now. I can see him next season, like after this season, going to a Saudi League team for the money. I'm surprised he didn't this year, to be fair. They've just not got that team to fight for the league yet, I don't think, anyway. They've not got that team they had a few years ago. And they've lost players. They have signed some good players, but they're just not as good as the players they used to have. So I'm going to put them in 4th. And then 3rd, my top 3, you know they are. But in 3rd, I've gone with Man United. And you're probably thinking, Oliver, why have you put Man United in 3rd? You're a City fan. Why are you bigging them up so much? I mean, for me, I think they will finish 3rd. It's all I can say. After the FA Cup final last year, they played really well. We could have come back in that game, but we were terrible in that game. If we played better, we probably could have won the game, but fair play to United for winning. And in it's Tuesday, I'm recording. The Saturday just gone was the Community Shield. And they played well again in that match. I mean, I know it's a derby. You turn up for a derby and play better, but I mean, they just did turn up, and I think any lower than 3rd for Ten Hag, the board's got to be asking him questions. Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know, but I think they're going to finish 3rd. So obviously, my top 2 are now Arsenal, City, and you're thinking, he's going to put Man City top because he's a Man City fan. He thinks they're going to win it 5 years in a row. No, I've actually gone with Arsenal to win the league and Man City to finish 2nd, and that is all because, I mean, the last 2 seasons I've always said we're not going to win it. Last year I said it, the year before I said it. I said I don't think we're going to win the league again. We ended up doing it. So maybe by me saying we're not going to win the league again, we're going to win it. And we're going to do it 5 years in a row. And I hope we do. I really hope we do. But I just think now Arsenal, they've gone 2 years where they've finished 2nd twice and could have won it both times easily if they didn't. Not slip up, but just be. The season before they did slip up. Last season were a bit. I think Man City just played well towards the end of the season, and Arsenal dropped a few points here and there. But I think this season was going to be their season. A big reason for me putting Man City 2nd is the fact we've just sold Alvarez to Atletico Madrid, and we haven't got a backup striker. I know, and Haaland is injury prone. He's been injured. He's been at City for 2. He's played 2 full seasons at City, been injured in both, and last season he was out for longer, which meant Alvarez did play a lot of matches and played well, and that's why we've got the money we've got for him, and not well, apart from the fact that he plays well for Argentina as well. But if he does get injured, who are we playing in that striker role? If we sign a striker, I could change my mind easily and put Man City to finish 1st, but at the minute, with us not having a striker, I can only see us finishing 2nd, and that is good to say we don't have a backup striker. And if we get an injury, and if Haaland gets injured and we finish 2nd still, I will be happy with that. Well, I won't be happy because obviously I want us to win the league. I think we're going to win the Champions League anyway. I just believe we're going to. But yeah, I think Arsenal are just going to kick on for this year. They're just going to be fed up for us now, and they're going to go and win it this year. And Man City is going to. I mean, if we sign a backup striker, I might change my mind. That was the big factor for me. The fact that we've let Alvarez go, and now we've only got Haaland. I know we won it in 2021 and 2022 without our striker. We even got to a Champions League final with our striker in 2021. Playing false nine, and I know Foden can play there, Bernardo Silva can play there. We had Gundogan who used to play there. De Bruyne could probably play there. I don't think we have actually played him there, but he could do it easily. But I think if we're going into the season thinking we're playing with a striker in Haaland and he gets injured, it's changing the game plan through the season, which Pep could probably do, and we probably could easily go on and win the league again. But for me, the big factor right now is the striker, because even back in 2021 and 2022, you still had the option of Jesus. If you needed a striker in a game, we had Jesus. And I know in 2022, when he probably played his best season for City, he played on the wings, but he was scoring. And that's what you need. You need someone on that pitch who scores goals, and Jesus did in that season, and that's why Arsenal signed him. But for me, that's the big factor in it, and I'm going with Arsenal to win league. And hopefully I come back to the end of the season and I'm completely wrong and Man City have won it for a fifth year in a row. And I would love it if we did, and we did the double, and if we did the treble, or we did the quad, or if we did, we could do is it a quintuple if you win 5, because we just won the Community Shield, so we could win Community Shield, Carabao Cup, Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League. Do it, I'll love it. Why not? Let's do it. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. That's the order of my 20 teams for this season. We'll come back in May to react to this silly list, because I guarantee you none of these teams are in the right place. I'm guaranteeing none of them are going to be in the right place. So we'll come back in May, react to this. But for now, that's the league I'm going with. I'm not going to predict a golden boot winner or a young player of the year or a player of the year, because it's a season's a long thing, and I can't predict that. I might do a midway prediction on what might happen, but by then Haaland might have already got 30 goals, so we never know. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. If you have enjoyed this video and you want to comment on how stupid these predictions are and how much I haven't researched, be like, I'm a Brighton fan and we've signed this and that, we're going to get top half. Or I don't know, fucking Bournemouth, they're shit, they're going down. I don't know. Leave it in comments. I'll read it. I'll like it. And I don't care if it's abuse at me. So leave a like, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. And yes, I've gone through the video without muting my mic.